My name is Joe Andrews. I'm a political activist and I think a well-informed, hardcore conservative, and I'm here today to speak on the Jacksonville residency requirements for city employees.
Okay, thank you. On the Duval County ballot, there is a local straw ballot referendum to require all city employees, appointees, independent agencies, and constitutional officers hired after January 1st, 2016 to reside in Duval County. The school board is exempted by this proposal. There are opponents and proponents to limiting city jobs to city residents. Please describe some opponent views.
Opponent views. Okay, let me begin by saying that the City Council of Jacksonville, Florida, has de facto declared themselves insane. Now hold that thought and let me explain. Residency requirements for working for the City of Jacksonville are bad business. They are a product of wrong-headed inclinations, certainly not thinking. They are unnecessarily handicapped on the hiring of the best talent for a particular task. Many examples can be illustrated, but one of the worst things is the ramifications for personal liberty. The mantra goes that if you work for the City of Jacksonville and get paid with tax money, then you should be required to spend that money in Duval County. And serious people say that. I say Americans can spend their money that they earn anywhere they please, and no idiot politician should be telling him otherwise. One outfall of these restrictions is that other counties will have a tendency to retaliate in kind and prohibit their citizens from working in their counties and living in Duval County. The clear result of that will be less inter-county commerce, a reduction in individual freedom, less efficiency in our production and consumption functions, and increases in the cost of living. This is a perfect parallel with the old-fashioned trade wars between countries. It didn't work then, it won't work now, and the proof is in the history of this ludicrous idea. Jacksonville adopted a residency requirement in 1978. It didn't work. It did not work. And it was repealed in 1988. The idea was readopted in 2006 in a strongly worded bill, Ordinance 759, but with some exceptions to give the city a little wiggle room. They softened the requirements. In Ordinance 2011-276, the language was tightened to include all city employees. 2 years later, in 2013, Ordinance 754, the language was relaxed again in order for the city to be able to hire police officers and some experienced attorneys who lived in other counties. Early in 2014, during a brief moment of lucidity, City Council enacted Ordinance 002, which repealed the municipal code requiring county residency for city employees. However, that bill required Duval residents get preferences over outside applicants, all other things being equal. But it did not elaborate on what those preferences might be, what that might entail. Not to be outdone, the perennial sponsor of residency requirements introduced Ordinance 2014-151 a month later. The bill requires this straw ballot referendum be placed on the next ballot, putting the debate before the public. That moment of lucidity from the previous month having faded, the City Council passed that bill. 8 months later, in Ordinance 2014-681 was enacted to once again soften the restraints to exclude current employees and anyone who's hired for the remainder of this year. So here we go again, around and around in the same loop. We've done the things over and over. Remember what I said about insanity up front. Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, for the past 37 years, our city councils have been following that pattern. This isolationist policy should be abandoned. Residency requirements should be forbidden once and for all and forevermore. So I would ask the voter to please vote no on the straw ballot for residency requirements. Thank you.